a shirt and a vest. Y'all cool with that? How soon we forget. Did you finish that, bro?
Yes.
Let's go to Proverbs chapter 30. And I think it does.
Has ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who has gathered the wind in his fist? Who has bound the waters in a garment? Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name? And what is his son's name, if you can tell?
And that is a very interesting question to be asked on Sunday morning, because they act like they don't know no son. They act like they don't know a father, excuse me. All they deal with is the son. It's the son, son, son constantly. The father don't even exist. But we can go back and they automatically knew that there was a father and a son. And they were different from one another. How is it that we have so-called gotten more educated but have less information? Go ahead.
Verse 5. Every word of Elohim is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add you not unto his words, lest he reprove you, and you be found a liar.
Mm-hmm.
2 things have I required of you, deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me.
Give me neither poverty nor riches. I don't want to be too far either way, because either one of them going to cause me a problem. See, if I get too much, I ain't going to think about Yahweh. If I got too little, I might start stealing. So keep me somewhere where I can still worship you in spirit and in truth. Because if you take me out of that, I'm in trouble. How many of us know where that part is in our life? See? Do you know where that part is? Well, no. If I get that, I'm done. I'm done. No, Yahweh, don't give me that. Do we know where that line is? Because see, some of us are very arrogant about ourselves. We think we can handle everything. You need to know where that line is. Least you cross that line and lose your salvation. And all the time, feel wonderful and justified as your salvation is slipping away minute by minute. Go ahead.
You know, even the heathen know where the line is. Didn't Dave Chappelle walk away when he met that line?
Exactly.
No, that's above the line.
And how many of us would have said, I'm going to take 50 million. I'm going to take whatever I got to do. I got to dance with a goat. I got to play shucky ducky quack quack. I'm going to do what I got to do to get that $50 million. And then we'll talk about, righteousness later. No. I'm talking about a heathen was able to draw the line. Nope. I ain't doing that. And we don't know what that dad is. Because he never said what the dad was. But I tell you what, he got the hell out of Dodge. How many of us will be able and willing to do that? While we talk all this Yahweh this, all this Shabbat Shalom that. Right. What's your price though? What will be your price to walk away from your salvation? Read, bro.
Verse 9. Lest I be full and deny you, and say, who is Yahweh?
Right. I don't need no Yahweh. What Drake said in his record? I'm the kind that pray for something and then go get it. I said, man, I don't need no God. I prayed to myself and then I answered my prayer. Right. Go ahead.
Or lest I be poor and steal.
Right. See, either way, I'm on opposite ends of the spectrum and it causes a problem. Keep me somewhere in the middle where I can still attain my salvation. But is that what we pray for? Go ahead, bro.
And take the name of my Elohim in vain. Accuse not a servant unto his master, lest he curse you and you be found guilty. There is a generation that curses their father and does not bless their mother.
And understand, you can bless your mother without worshiping her God. I ain't gonna worship your God. Do understand that. I can honor my mother and my father, but I ain't gonna worship your God. See, I know where my line at. I ain't confused at all. Anything that goes against Yahweh, my Elohim, is going to be on that side of my fence. I don't care where you stand in my family. When it comes down to where the line is between me, Yahweh, my Elohim, and my salvation, you either on this side of the fence or you on that other side of the fence. It ain't no negotiating that. Go ahead.
There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. There is a generation, oh how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, and the needy from among men.
Right, and now we can speak villainy without even opening our mouth, because they got Facebook and Instagram. So now we can type evil. You ain't got to open your mouth. You can post it for 1 million people to see, and you ain't said a word out of your mouth. But do understand, you shall be called into account for what has proceeded from your fingers, because it still came out from your heart first. Isaiah chapter 27. I like to see somebody argue that with Yahweh, but Yahweh, I didn't say it out of my mouth per se. I typed it. When I read in your law, it didn't say, thou shalt be judged for every word that thou typest. Good luck on that. Good luck on that. Isaiah chapter 27, and we're going to read verses 1 through 13.
In that day Yahweh with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan the piercing serpent, even Leviathan that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea.
And when you look back to all of these nations and all of these things that have the symbol of the dragon that they worship, dragon that is a part of their family crest, that is a part of their whole setup, it is utterly amazing how many people and nations worship the dragon. When you get even down to the Mayans and this whole Kukulkan thing, it's a dragon. They're worshiping the dragon. It is this dragon worship just all throughout history. All of this stuff dealing with the Asians is a whole bunch of dragon worship. Dragon this and dragon that. And Yahweh has completely set it forth as evil. And we have gotten so accustomed to it, we think it's cool. There's something wrong with that. Go ahead.
In that day sing you unto her, a vineyard of red wine. I, Yahweh, do keep it. I will water it every moment. Lest any hurt it, I will keep it night and day. Fury is not in me. Who would set the briars and thorns against me in battle? I would go through them. I would burn them together. Or let them take hold of my strength, that he may make peace with me, and he shall make peace with me. He shall cause them that come of Jacob to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud, and fill the face of the world with fruit. Hath he smitten him, as he smote those that smote him? Or is he slain according to the slaughter of them that are slain by him? In measure, when he shooteth forth, you will debate with it. He stayeth his rough wind in the day of the east wind.
Right. And when it says he stays his rough wind in the day of the east wind, he stops. He removes his rough wind in the day of the east wind. And when you deal with this whole thing of the east, when it says, when they say they have seen the Mashiach here or there, believe it not. For as the sun rises in the east and then sets in the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. It is going to happen in the east and then make its way toward here. So when people tell you that we saw Christ, you know, saying in Kansas, you be fooled if you go there. Well, did he show up and set forth judgment in Jerusalem first? Well, where y'all going over there to Kansas? It should have been some straight turmoil in Israel right away. Y'all ain't heard about that, but y'all on y'all way to Kansas. Go ahead, bro.
By this, therefore, shall the lawlessness of Yaakov be purged, and this is all the fruit to take away his sin, when he maketh all the stones of the altar as chalk stones that are beaten in sunder. The groves and images shall not stand up.
The groves, those Christmas trees, those evergreen trees that people will claim that they worship in the Most High and turn around and put a Christmas tree right in their pulpit. Go ahead.
Yet the defenced city shall be desolate, and the habitation forsaken, and left like a wilderness. There shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down, and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The women come and set them on fire. For it is a people of no understanding. Therefore he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will show them no favor. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and you shall be gathered one by one, O you children of Israel.
You shall be gathered one by one, O children of Israel. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria.
All right. The trumpet, every man returns unto his own land, and when the trumpet of the Jubilee is sounded. So this trumpet that Yahshua is going to blow is going to cause, this is the very thing when you start reading Jeremiah 50 and 51, when it says every man shall return unto his own land. This is the trumpet of the Jubilee. Every man must return unto his own possession. So when you don't understand certain things, you don't know where to connect it. Go ahead.
And the outcast in the land of Egypt, and shall worship Yahweh in the holy mount at Jerusalem.
Right. And when you examine this, we're going to have to be in the land for that to happen. Understand, Israel ain't letting no black people in. All the black people that Israel let in, they put them under all kind of restrictions. They ain't got to be black. They just got to be lightly colored. It is one of the most racist places on the earth. So much, in fact, whenever you need your own law and definition for racism, I can tell you that you are one of the most bigoted places on the earth. They wouldn't have a regular definition for racism. They needed to call it anti-Semitism. That only means racism against them. So they get to have whatever racist view they want about everybody else in the world. Their racist term only applies to them. It's quite slick, quite slick. Now, I want to get into some things on this article. Let's go to the next graphic here so we can read some of these things that are taking place in Israel. Go ahead.
Some say Jerusalem police harassment of Aswaya's residents was inspired by a now infamous documentary series that was shot there.
Now, this is a article called Why Israeli Police Are Terrorizing This Palestinian Village. And you will understand why America and Israel operates, why they're such close friends. They operate the same way. Go ahead.
But there might be another reason. On Sunday, the Obiad family wanted to arrange a meal in memory of their son, who was killed by Jerusalem District Police, to mark the conclusion of the traditional 40 days of mourning. Mohammed Obiad, 21, had worked in the dining room of a company in the city's Har Hatzim high-tech park. Police officers claimed that he had thrown firecrackers at them near his home, and therefore shot him at close range, killing him.
Right. You see how anything leads to straight open violence of the police? And when you examine all of the shootings that happen here in America, large black men are in danger here because all they have to do is say that they were afraid for their life. When you look at most of the shootings of unarmed black men, they were big black guys. That way they can say, I was afraid. I was afraid. I saw a big black guy. So the bigger a brother is, the more he needs to be aware that you are automatically made to be an enemy, because when they get in their so-called grand jury room, which is, a private room of their friends, this is where they can get together and make you seem like the enemy. But there's certain things. I watched a video, and it was a white man saying, don't roll your windows down. He was like, roll your window down enough to slide your stuff through the window. It's hard for them to claim that you were a threat and there's glass in between you. And they will try to make you pull that window down. So here go my license right here. No, I ain't rolling this window down. Go ahead, bro.
Parents are sending their children to stay with relatives to keep them out of trouble. Every trip in the car is liable to end with a bizarre but extremely costly traffic ticket.
Right. Sound like America, don't it? Sound like America. Well, they just pull you over because they ain't got nothing else to do. Go ahead.
Checkpoints are frequently placed at the village's two main entrances. Everyone who leaves or enters is scrutinized, and law enforcement operations take place virtually every day. A night doesn't go by without a police invasion and arrest, tear gas fired into homes, beatings, or the firing of rubber-coated metal bullets and sponge-tip bullets. Last Sunday, the police threw a stun grenade at a resident they were arresting, causing severe burns on his back and arm. Causing him severe burns on his back and arm.
Right. Go ahead.
Abu Hummus, a member of the local village committee, believes that the village of Asawaya is the training base of the Jerusalem police.
Right.
They come here to learn how to arrest people, how to open fire, how to throw stun grenades, how to hurl tear gas, and how to break down doors and break into homes. They have no other training base in Jerusalem. Where else are they going to practice in the use of sponge-tip bullets? On Highway 1?
Right. They're not going to do that to their own people. So they got to find somebody else to do that too. Consider what we read concerning the practice of shooting the atomic weapons. They shot them over in the Marshall Islands among the Asians. They shot those things toward other people. They didn't practice it here. So they learn what radiation is going to do by inflicting that upon some other people that have a darker skin tone. Go ahead.
Fatty Obiad was detained, handcuffed from behind, and taken outside. One officer then threw a stun grenade at him from zero range, hitting him in the back. A report on TV channel 13 depicted that moment. The detained Obiad being led by police officers, a grenade exploding behind him, and thick smoke rising from it. He collapsed, but despite his wounds, the policemen dragged him to their jeep, where a policewoman slammed the heavy door on his head several times, causing him facial and head injuries.
Right. Remember the brother that was taken into the paddy wagon and beat to death? Right. Yeah. Hey, you're gonna, as you read about the things that happen in Israel, it goes hand in hand with the stuff that happens here. You find out why they such good friends. Birds of a feather flock together. Go ahead.
But the most serious injuries was caused by the grenade. Deep burns on his back and arm. They dragged me like an animal and threw me into the jeep, he says now, adding that the beating continued in the vehicle. Obiad was taken by ambulance to Hadassah Medical Center in Ain Karam, treated while still bound, then brought in for interrogation to the Shalem police station in East Jerusalem. He was charged with assaulting officers.
Check this out. This is exactly what they do to us. He resisted arrest. Why they beating you? You resist an arrest. He then gets assaulted by the police and then gets charged with assaulting the very police who beat him up. Go ahead.
Interfering with police in the line of duty and throwing stones. It's just the opposite. He says, they interfered with me in my house. They hit me, and I didn't throw a single stone. A few hours later, he was released on bail and placed under house arrest for 5 days.
All right, next graphic.
A spokesperson for the Jerusalem police stated after the incident, during police activity against stone throwers, the police located a building from which the stones were being thrown at them.
Okay, stones. They got missiles. Go ahead.
Entered it, and a suspect at the scene clashed with the police and was arrested for questioning. As the detainee was being taken to the van, locals started to gather around them, and the officers were forced, in order to disperse the crowd, to use a stun grenade, as a result of which 2 police officers and the suspect were injured and taken for medical treatment to a hospital.
Right, they claim they had to use the stun grenade. All this sounds very familiar. Go to the next one.
A documentary entitled Stranger Fruit, The Cover-Up of Mike Brown. This documentary is on Amazon and the Starz Network. It details how the government and the media get together to produce the narrative that they want out to the public. There were multiple witnesses to the Mike Brown shooting, yet all of their testimonies were thrown out.
Once again, they get with the private grand jury, who then decide and pull each one of them and decide a reason why their testimony is not allowed. We're talking people who watch this man. And if you watch this documentary, it is very interesting how they, when you get to the stuff that they said, and then what this documentary does is puts the statements side by side. Like where they started one narrative and then they changed and started something else. Well, he puts all of them right beside each other and you can see the story changing. Bit by bit. See, it's one thing when you tell a lie on Monday, and then you tell a lie on Wednesday, and then you tell a lie on Friday. But when you can put all those lies right beside each other and play them back to back, oh, it jumps out then. It jumps out. Go ahead.
This, of course, helped the police officer and murderer of Mike Brown. Mike Brown's body was left in the street for 4 hours. His mother could see him on the ground, but they could not allow her to get closer to see her son. The police tactics of any American city seem to mirror the tactics of the Israeli police force. Maybe this explains why America and Israel are such good friends.
All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 16. And if you deal with some of the things that Israel does to any of the people that try to migrate there, as we read the things where it says he's going to take the outcasts of Egypt, Israel not going to let that happen. They're not going to let that happen. So, for that to happen, Yahweh has to remove those people. Isaiah chapter 16, and let's read verses 1 through 10.
Send you the lamb to the ruler of the land, from Selah to the wilderness, onto the mount of the daughter of Zion. For it shall be that, as a wandering bird cast out of the nest, so the daughters of Moab shall be at the fords of Arnon. Take counsel, execute judgment, make your shadow as the night in the midst of the noonday. Hide the outcast, bewray not him that wanders. Let mine outcast dwell with you, Moab.
Right. And understand something. Yahweh says, let my outcast dwell with you, Moab. Who would be sympathetic to our issues, understanding that they are going through the exact same thing in Palestine that we are going through here. Yahweh is working on some things. Yet you got, and understand, these people speak Hebrew, Arab, and English. They're going through the exact same things that we're going through here. Yahweh has a way of making people sympathetic to the things that you have gone through. Consider how he grew King David. These were people who were persecuted in other places, and as they fled from persecution, they kept joining Dawid. And Dawid keeps getting these mighty men because they're being persecuted in other places, and they keep coming to him. And Dawid's army is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, but it comes about through persecution in other places. Yahweh is working even when you don't think he's working. Sometimes the persecution of somebody is meant to push them in the place where they're supposed to be. I need you to go help this servant. I need you to go be there. I need you to go leave this place and go over there. Go ahead.
Be you a covert to them from the face of the spoiler.
From the face of the spoiler. The same people that's spoiling you. I might be about to give you some help. Go ahead.
For the extortioner is at an end. The spoiler cease. The oppressors are consumed out of the land. And in mercy shall the throne be established, and he shall sit upon it in truth in the tabernacle of Dawid, judging and seeking judgment and hasting righteousness.
And when you examine these things, you look, and Yahweh, the ultimate sacrifice for Israel is this lamb. Then, with all of the animals that Yahweh made, you have to ask yourself a question. Why did he pick certain animals for certain sacrifices? Then you have how King Dawid, who is ultimately the king that all kings will have to descend from, he trains him by making him a herder of sheep. And the ultimate sacrifice for redemption is a lamb. And he trains him. Instead of putting him in front of people, here, take care of these sheep right here. This is his training to be a king. Here, take care of them. Telling you now, they don't see very well. You got to constantly talk to them because they'll just go off and just follow some strange stuff. This was his training to deal with us. Go ahead.
Verse 6. We have heard of the pride of Moab. He is very proud, even of his haughtiness, and his pride, and his wrath, but his lies shall not be so. Therefore shall Moab howl for Moab. Every one shall howl. For the foundations of Kir-Harish shall you mourn. Surely they are stricken. For the fields of Heshbon languish, and the vine of Sebon. The masters of the heathen have broken down the principal plants thereof. They are come even unto Yazer. They wandered through the wilderness. Her branches are stretched out. They are gone over the sea. Therefore I will bewail with the weeping of Yazer, the vine of Sibmah. I will water you with my tears, O Heshbon and Elel. For the shouting, for your summer fruits and for your harvest is fallen. And gladness is taken away, and joy out of the plentiful field, and in the vineyards there shall be no singing, neither shall there be shouting. The treaders shall tread out no wine in their presses. I have made their vintage shouting to cease.
All right, let's go to Zechariah chapter 5. Zechariah chapter 5. And we're just going to read a couple of verses out of here. Zechariah chapter 5, and we're going to read verses 1 through 4.
Verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seeth you? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goes forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it. And every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. I'll bring it forth, says Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name.
Right. This curse is going all over the earth and is entering into houses based upon how they operate. Go ahead.
And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof.
So it's going to tear up the house from inside out. So they'll have spiritual issues and eventually spiritual issues, physical issues. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Psalms chapter 143. But you see how difficult that can be if to understand if this curse that has gone above around the earth to enter into a house to destroy it. You see how you can run from that if you got about 6 or 7 houses? Makes harder for you to understand what's happening. Man, something happened in this $77 million house. I'm going to the one in the islands. So you keep prolonging the righteous judgment and making the judgment even heavier upon you when it does come to you. Because you keep running from each and every last opportunity that is given for repentance. Psalms 143, and let's start that at verse 1.
Hear my prayer, O Yahweh, give ear to my supplications. In your faithfulness answer me, and in your righteousness. And enter not into judgment with your servant, for in your sight shall no man living be justified. For the enemy has persecuted my soul. He has smitten my life down to the grounds. He has made me to dwell in darkness, as those that have been long dead. Therefore is my spirit overwhelmed within me. My heart within me is desolate. I remember the days of old. I meditated on all your works. I muse on the work of your hands. I stretch forth my hands unto you. My soul thirsts after you, as a thirsty land. Hear me speedily, O Yahweh. My spirit fails. Hide not your face from me, lest I be like unto them that go down into the pit. Cause me to hear your loving kindness in the morning, for in you do I trust. Cause me to know the way wherein I should walk, for I lift up my soul unto you.
Cause me to hear your loving kindness in the morning, for in you do I trust. Cause me to know the way wherein I should walk. Or do we make those decisions for ourselves? It says the steps of a righteous man are ordered by Yahweh. Or do we order our own steps? Go ahead.
Deliver me, O Yahweh, from mine enemies. I flee unto you to hide me. Teach me to do your will, for you art my Elohim. Your spirit is good. Lead me into the land of uprightness. Quicken me, O Yahweh, for your name's sake.
Quicken me, O Yahweh, for your name's sake. Well, if we are walking around and people see, know, and hear that we are Israelites, everything that we do is a representation upon Yahweh. So as we go off and do little slick things here in the corner of the darkness, there's people sitting there watching you. You see that Israelite over there? You see there's an Israelite over there in that corner over there. Is Yahweh's name now being blasphemed? But some of us will be so bold as to believe that Yahweh has given us a license to do these things. We do the evil and we'll throw around Yahweh's name while we're doing it. Go ahead.
Quicken me, O Yahweh, for your name's sake. For your righteousness' sake, bring my soul out of trouble.
Right. Because if you are making a heartfelt attempt to walk in the righteousness of Yahweh, it is then beneficial for him to bring you out of trouble, as it is going to glorify and magnify his name. So you have to put it in a place whereby it is beneficial for Yahweh to save you. Why would he want to save you? What you going to do when he does? Are you going to glorify him at all? Are you going to do anything? Well, what's the use of saving you? Go ahead.
And of your mercy, cut off mine enemies and destroy all them that afflict my soul. For I am your servant.
And that is a $1 million question. Can we say that when we want to be quickened? Can we say, for I am your servant, please quicken me, save me, that your name may be glorified in the earth, for I am your servant. He is putting forth a situation whereby it is beneficial for you to serve, to save me. I can't serve you in death. But you have to ask a question. Is the servitude that you offer, or the gift that you offer, is it the same whether you live or die? Uh-oh. I said, well, you know what? If you die, I get the same thing. You might well die then. There's absolutely no reason for me to keep you alive. Why do I need to keep you alive? You give the same servitude whether you're living or dead. Remove yourself. Yahweh has a tendency to get rid of those things that don't profit him. Yahweh made the body, and the body operates the same way. People who lay in the hospital bed for too long, you know the rest of their body starts shutting down? Because your body go through this self-check where it says, you know what, I keep sending resources to these legs, but these legs ain't moved in a month. Shut off the resources to them things, man, so we can run leaner. We can send more blood to other places. You don't need to send no blood to them legs. They don't do nothing. Next thing you know, people don't move. Upper body look like this, and then they got them sticks down there for legs. It stopped sending resources to it because you wasn't using it. Well, Yahweh does the same thing. He said, so what is this servant doing? Oh, they're not doing anything, Yahweh. All right, well, cut off the resources. Don't send no more word to them. Word doesn't prosper them. There's no need of me giving that to somebody. Take that and give it to that leaf over there. See, that leaf will prosper more than this leaf. I've been giving resources to this leaf right here for a couple of years. It has done absolutely nothing with the resources that I've given to it. Take those resources away and give it to the leaf on that other branch. Cut that branch off. Then here come everybody crying. But you had an ample opportunity to produce fruit for Yahweh your Elohim. Your cutoff is based on your own dealings. Let us consider those things as Yahweh our Elohim is about to bring righteous judgment here on the earth. And let us not be surprised as the heathen is going to be surprised. Why should we be surprised? We are the studiers of his word. How we going to be surprised when righteousness comes forth on the earth? And what did Yahweh say? Do all of these things and begin at my house. The righteous judgment starts at his house first. So whereas people can take off running and say, you know what? I don't want to deal with the judgment. And this is what a lot of times people come in the word and they be like, I'm going to have to make changes. I don't like changes. I'm getting out of here. So they leave and they think they are avoiding judgment. All they did was put a pause on judgment because Yahweh is going to deal with his house first. But then when he's finished dealing with his house, then he hit the street. So they can run from it and they think they're running away from judgment. They just hit the pause button. And when it hit them streets, they're not going to know what to do. Because they're not being taught that. They're being given carefully crafted motivational speeches. Those things don't help you when you're in the midst of a fire. When you're in the midst of a fire, you need water. You don't need somebody to sit down there. You are more than conquerors. Hey man, I just on fire here. Greater is he that is in you than the you that is in the world. I need water, man. It's a fire here. I don't need no quotes. Can't give me no quotes, man, in my house on fire. That's not going to help me. And when they find themselves in that fire, and they realize that them quotes not going to put out that fire, then the thing is going to get interesting. But let us not be surprised by those things. Let us prepare now. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.